अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल
नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः हरिः ओम। उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्याम् जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम् अद्राक्षम् अक्षीणदयानिधानम् आचार्यमाद्यं वटमूलभागे मौनेन मन्दस्मितभूषितेन महर्षिलोकस्य तमोनुदन्तम् विद्राविताशेषतमो गणेन मुद्राविशेषेण मुहुर्मुनीनां निरस्य मायां दयया विधत्ते देवो महांस्तत्त्वमसीति बोधं ममाद्य देवो वटमूलवासी कृपाविशेषात् कृतसन्निधानः ओंकाररूपाम् उपदिश्य विद्याम् आविद्यगध्वान्तम् अपाकरोतु। एकमेव हृदि सन्ततं सकलनामरूपगुणवर्जितं भावहीनमिममद्भुतं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम्। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनाम् सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम्। For last 3-4 days we have been talking on knowledge which is beyond knowledge and ignorance. Jnana varjita ajnana heenachit. That is, it is the pratyabhijñā. There is a beautiful word, pratyabhijñā, the recognition. Tamil, Bhagavan uses the word tērndiruttal. Tērdal means just to select. So many things are there, in between you select something, choose something. Like that, the body, the mind, the ego, all the desires. In the center, you choose the consciousness, the changeless principle behind all changes. It is always shining forth as aham, aham, as Bhagavan says, I. So, when that recognition happens, it is terdal. And that very recognition, the clarity of recognition is abidance. To know that am I. To withdraw the mind from all these distractions and turn it towards the self it needs all the prerequisites like the viveka, vairagya, shama, dama, discrimination, dispassion, kind of calmness, control over the senses, and the power to endure the suffering that comes in the life, titiksha. All these things are needed. Purigalam parigal tammai pulangalil vilangum dosha arivenum kasai aditte ahamuhakkaiitral ஈர்த்து அறிவு அறிஞர் எத்தில் அனைத்து ஒன்றாய் பிணித்திருப்பர் அறிபொருளுக்கு அதீதமான அவ்வஸ்து அன்றோ நீதான். This is the Guru Stuti which Bhagavan has translated. It will also end by avvastu andro nidan, tattvamasi. It comes in the Shankara Vijayam, this portion. Tattvamasi, tattvamasi, tattvamasi rajan. So the same thing Bhagavan has translated, Porigalil vilangum porigalam parigal tammai. These senses are like horses. They just run headlong towards the sensory objects. The body is termed as a ratha, as a chariot, and the senses are the horses. And the reins, it is the mind. And the charioteer is Sarathi, is Buddhi. And the sorry traveler is we, is Jiva. All the 5 horses run in 5 directions. So, Porigalam Parigal Tammai Pulangalil Vilangum Dosha. This is not Ulladu Narpadu, I am just taking one verse. It's quoted in Tamil commentary of Ulladu Narpadu, the 11th verse. So the senses are being slowly made to understand what they call the bodily memory. See, you have touched fire, your very body gathers that memory, and no more you will touch. You need not intellectualize, I should not touch fire. You know, your body itself knows. Like that, the senses are convinced by the flaw, by the trouble that is there in the objects. With this knowledge is like kashai, like what they whip with which they just beat the horses, control the horses. So, arivenum kashai aditte ahamuhakkaiitral ஈர்த்து, with the reins of the mind, these are withdrawn inside, made to turn inside and abide in the arivu, in the self. Arivu ariஞர் எத்தில் அனைத்து, by making it embrace the inner self. ஒன்றாய் பிணித்து இருப்பர், that is absolute establishment there, nishtha. And that self is ariporulku adhitam. It is not something which is the known, it is something beyond the known. It is, because the known is Maya. The known is something which traps you, which enslaves you. And to turn the drishti, the vision from the known to the knower, and what shines forth there as pure consciousness is your real nature. So this much prerequisites are needed. When you come to Vedanta, you are expected to be much more disciplined than what you are generally required for other study. Vedanta is very simple, provided the person is ready for it. One Swami in Ramakrishna Math long back in our childhood used to say, one day Grihastha, a devotee came. After so many years he is seeing him. He asked, how are your family? All are good? He said, yes, everything, Swami, by the blessing, grace of Bhagavan, everyone is okay. And what is your first son doing? My first son, Swami, he is studying for engineering. So he is a very good boy. He studies well. Very intelligent. Nobody in our family is intelligent like him. Oh, that is Ishvara's grace. Okay. Then what about the second one? The second one, Swami, is studying for doctor, MBBS, medicine. He is also a very good boy, very good at studies, very ambitious. Oh, it is all Bhagavan's grace, then you are having a happy life. Yes, Swami, but the problem is with the third son. He is neither good at studies nor is he useful for anything in the world. I think I should bring and put him in your ashram so that he can become a sannyasi. The most useless one, you think you come to spirit. See, Veda Padashala, the problem with Veda Padashala also, most of the things are like that. Formerly it was, now at least people are bringing good, children are coming for Padashala. But formerly, last generation, Padashala also had this problem. That when they don't get admission in anywhere, they are put in Padashala. Sanskrit also like that. When you come to study Sanskrit in college, no other course you get admission, you put them in Sanskrit. Then how will that grow? So spiritual life means the person must be very well ready to receive it. He should be above average. So then only this wisdom can go inside. That is why Bhagavan never started any institution. Like any other institution, Bhagavan never said, all of you can come join here and become brahmacharis, then sannyasis. All these things, because when you know the human nature, you know how complex it is. It is not that easy. It is not that easy that you can transmit this wisdom to anyone, come join and give some name and give this knowledge. It is not possible. Only when the person has to go and inquire. The person has to go and inquire, surrender himself. The person's maturity is understood by the Guru, by the bhakti that is happening there. Bhakti doesn't mean emotion. It means the discipline, the power to understand. The maturity of the person speaks itself. With that, this knowledge can be transferred, transmitted. So this is the sign. So, okay. So now, yesterday we saw the 13th verse, I think. 13வது தானே? ஞானமாம் தானேமை. ஞானமாம் தானேமை நானாவாம் ஞானம் அஜ்ஞானமாம். The very nature of the self is jnanam. And knowing many things is ajnanam. Too much, too many things is ajnanam. One day somebody was reading so many books in Vichara Sagaram and discussing these things in Bhagavan's presence. After listening to that, Bhagavan remarked, Nalla kala na idalam padikala. Bhagavan said, it was pure grace that I did not go into this line. Otherwise I would have got confused. All these books are there so that a person will not escape. So, Nānāvām jnānam ajñānamām. To know too many things is ajñānam. ஞானமாம் தன்னை அன்றி இன்று அணிகள் தாம் பலவும் பொய் மெய்யாம் பொன்னை அன்றி உண்டோ புகழ். Without the Atma, the world has no existence. It is the light of the self with which you are able to see the world. The world is nothing but ornaments made by the gold that is the self. Self is the Atman, the pure consciousness, which is the basic stuff with which the world is made of, all the names and forms. Once you know the inner self, the inner being, then you know that you somehow intuit that everyone is carrying this in their being. That somehow that intuition happens, and the general example given is gold. Before making the ornaments, gold alone was there. Ponnukku veraha bhushanam ullatho, Bhagavan now going to say. After making the ornaments also, gold alone exists. And again you melt the ornaments, then also gold exists. So before creation there was only God. After dissolution there will be only God. And while you are seeing, experiencing samsara, then also this non-duality remains without any pollution, any disturbance. Only God exists. Bhagavatam is that. People think Bhagavatam means some stories. Bhagavatam is this knowledge, where they call the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the 4 verses. And the main verse is this: Ahameva asameva agre, where Bhagavan says, I alone was in the beginning. Na anyat, nothing else was there other than this Atman. Atma va itam agra asit. Atman alone was there, that pure consciousness, Chaitanya alone was there. Ekameva advitiyam, the one without a second. So, ahameva asameva agre nanyadyat sadasat param pasyadaham. After creation also what was there? Only me. Yo avashishyeta sosmyaham. After dissolution, pralaya also, I alone will remain. That means the simple truth is that alone exists. Then why do we see all these names and forms? Because the name and form is the problem. Because of the name and form, you somehow ignore the Satchidananda that inhabits it. Asti bhati priyam nama rupam cheti amsha panchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagadrupam atodvayam. That Sat Chit Ananda, existence, awareness, and priyam also means bliss. That is the nature of the self. But the body mind, it carries the name and form. And all these names and forms are seen. Anigal poi. Ponnai andri undo pugal. Without gold there is no ornaments. So too, without the self, the Atman, nothing else exists. And the Atman is shining forth within. The Swarupa is shining forth within as I am, as aham. The awareness I am is a self-evident immediate experience. Sadhyo mukti. In Vedanta they call videha mukti, jivan mukti, it's all just preparatory lessons. But the true Vedanta is sadhyo mukti. When you are listening now, here, that's all. Your attention is turned towards the Atma, the Swarupam, and mukti or liberation is the very nature of the self. But the moment you identify with the body, mind, mukti is impossible. And liberation is the very nature of the self. Jnanam, tāne jnanam, tāne tattvam. As Bhagavan puts here, Tān is the self, the Svarupa. And the Svarupa is ever free, it is timelessly free. So, it is self-evident, self-effulgent. And how is it felt? Astityeva upalabdhavyaha. Astityeva upalabdhasya tattvabhavav prasidati. When you get it as asti means astitva, existence. You sit in a dark room, the only thing about which you are sure is the existence as I am, about which you have no doubt. If someone is sitting near you, you don't know whether he is there or gone. Your own body you are not seeing, but something you are sure, I am there. This experience of I, swabodhe na anyabodhecha. You don't need another light to illumine your existence. It is self-luminous, swayam prakasha. And that swayam prakashatva is its evidence. And how is it got? It is got as irup. As Bhagavan puts it as irup in Tamil, irup in Sanskritam, sat. In Arunachala Ashtakam, Bhagavan says, Arunachala, you are available as irup, existence. Irundu olir unai viduthu aduttida deivam iruttinai vilakkedutthadutthidale kan. You are shining within me as the I, as existence. Ignoring that and searching for outside, whether for pleasure or for money or for God or for protection, is like taking a torch in your hand and searching for light, searching for darkness. Wherever you go, you will see light because you are light. You are carrying the light. So your very nature is light. You are standing on light. Your very stance, that is Jyotish Charanabhidhana. It's a sutra in Brahma Sutra. So one who focuses his attention relentlessly in one's beingness will awaken into the truth of Brahman. So one's own existence, which is experienced as I am, is Brahman. To know this, one has to look within and investigate the individual sense, the I. Then it will reveal itself as the infinite. This is the teaching which Arunachaleshwara gave to Bhagavan. Actually, all teaching comes from within. The outer guru is only nimittam. When you are ripe, you already carry the knowledge within you. The outer guru tells it, that's all. So Bhagavan puts all this on Arunachaleshwara. He says, Arunachala gave me the teaching. And what is the teaching? Two things. One is, Bhagavan says, after analyzing, studying, after Shravana, Manana, what is the cream? It is tāne tattvam. What is shining within as Tān, as I am, is the tattvam, is the essence of Vedanta. How to see it? Tāne kattuvai Arunachala. You reveal it yourself, Arunachala. And in the next verse, Bhagavan says, Arunachala also gave me a method. Tirumbi aham tanai dinamahak kankan, teriyumendranai en Arunachala. Arunachala said, turn within and incessantly look at the I. Inquire, what is this I? Who am I? What is this me? What is this I? Three things. What is this I? And who is this I? And where from this I thought arises? Whatever the method. The thing is, attention turned towards this first person, this I. Then you find that is not real. That movement of throb of I just merges in the source, revealing mere presence as Satchidananda. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam ahaminashabhaji ahamaham taya spurati hitsvayam paramapurna sat. So this is the essence. அணிகள் பலவும் பொன்னை அன்றி உண்டோ புகழ். This is the question that Bhagavan asks here. Once when a person understands that he is not the body, neither is he the mind nor the ego. When you go on moving inward and finds that his real nature is pure Shanti, bliss, consciousness, and his mind becomes familiar with that state and drops all the dross, it is like touching pure gold. Meyyam ponnai andri undo pugal. Bhagavan uses the word pon, is gold. Once the mind absorbs it, see, the samadhi has to be incessant. That is why Bhagavan tells in Gita, tad buddhayaha tad atmanaha taṇnishtaha tad parayanaha gachanti apunaravartim. This punaravarti is not simply rebirth. It means you get a glimpse of the truth and again come back to samsara, ajnana. As long as you return to the same troublesome state, your knowledge had what you got from Guru or Shastra has not become effective. Viryam has not come. Shankaracharya says in Kenopanishad Bhashyam, says, Vishayaihi anabhibhavatvam. You have the knowledge, but you have some incident in your life which unsettles you, which makes you forget this truth. You need more manana, nididhyasana to get established there. Once you are established in it, then even with open eyes, while moving in the world, you see nothing but the same being everywhere. It means there is no dvaita, duality, no ragadvesha. So this is what Bhagavan says here, Anigal palavum pun. All the abharanas, all the ornaments are nothing but gold. So, this was there in the fullest form in Bhagavan's life. This knowledge was so natural to him that he saw the same in the birds, the animals, and even with plants. Everywhere this samadarshitva was so natural. Another point of this is, Shankaracharya says, this is possible only for the highest samadarshitva is possible only for a sannyasi. Because you try this in samsara, then you will find that you will land in trouble. Everyone is saying, you go and put it in practice in worldly life, trouble will come. So when you have no vyavahara, then this, or the very nature of this jnanam is that it removes vyavahara. Because then you don't need anything from the world. So the vyavahara jnana is different. That is why there is a story, very well known story in Bhagavatam, where this great jnani Jadabharata, actually Jadabharata is not his name. Nobody knows what name he had in that birth. This Bharata name was his former name in the birth before. Actually, he had the birth of a deer in his last life. Before that, he was the king Bharata. So, we address him as Jadabharata, but Bhagavata says he had no name. He was called Brahmana, that's all. He was born as a Brahmin, but from his childhood, he was in this state that he just moved about in samadhi always. One day, a king was moving about. His servants were carrying him in a palanquin. The difficulty is with the people who carry him. He can eat and become fat, heavy, but people who carry him, they will find the difficulty. This Kanchi Shankaracharya, Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swami, in his younger days he used to travel in palanquin. So his people used to carry, and he became so slim that they will not feel that somebody is sitting there. And many people asked him, why are you fasting so much? He said, so that they can carry me. For their sake, they will not have the difficulty of carrying me. So here in this palanquin, this king Rahugana was sitting. He was very heavy. So they wanted one more person to carry. Then they found this person sitting there, this Avadhuta. See, people have a misunderstanding that all enlightened sages will be slim. No. Sometimes they can be very fat also, very hefty also. So this Jadabharata was very healthy, very fat. And the king said, the servants, they made him also one of the palanquin bearers. But he said, for him everything was okay. They put the pestle on his shoulders. He was carrying it. In between, if he sees some line of ants going, he will make a jump. And the difficulty is for the person sitting inside. Now and then he will make a jump. Very often he will jump. So, he became angry. And he looked, who is this new person? Oh, you are very slim, very old, unhealthy. You are not able to walk like other people. He was saying the opposite. Nati piva samhananangaha, na samhananangaha. Jaraya cha upadrutaha. Very old. He was making fun of him. But Bhagavatam, that Shukacharya says, even though he was constantly saying such things, aham mameti anadhyaropita mithya pratyayaha. Bhagavata says, he did not superimpose the body on himself. And he just did not even care to look who was insulting him. Because only when you take the body as yourself, somebody is talking ill of you, you feel angry against them. But you don't feel. One student asked his teacher, some of the people around me, they are insulting me, master, what should I do? The master said, every time they insult, pay them. Give them money. So after that, every time they insulted, he will give 100 rupees. So this is the way. And Ekanath Maharaj in one of his songs says, those who insult, they are the greatest Tirtha Kshetra. They will purify you. They will take away all your sins. They are more pure than Ganga, they are more pure than Haridwar, they are more pure than Prayaga, he says. And they are the greatest karma yogis, selfless workers. Without getting any benefit, they clean you. They do great service to you. So this is, this Rahugana was making fun of him. He did not care to look. And after that he said, I will punish you, I am the king, all these things he said. Then just he looked at him and just said, I am neither fat nor slim, I have no hunger, no thirst, I am neither old nor young. All these things are only for the body, I am not the body. Staulyam, karshyam, vyadhayaha, adhayasya, chutrit, bhayam, kali, richa, jaracha. All these things. Dehena jatasya himena sandhi. I do not have these things. I am the pure self. Nitya shuddha buddha mukta swarupa. The king was shocked because he was himself a spiritual seeker. He was going to see Kapila Bhagavan to get the teaching. On the way, he made a Kapila Bhagavan to carry his palanquin. He says, Shuklahava? He asked, you are Kapila? Who are you? He just jumped from the palanquin, fell flat before him and said, Master, who are you? Oh, great sage, who are you? Kastvam nigudhashara siddhujanam bibarshi sutram katamo vadhuta kasyasi kutratya ihapi kasmat kshemaya naschetasinota shuklaha. He says, Kastvam, who are you? Nigudhaha, you are moving about hidden without revealing your real nature. You are moving about like a mentally retarded person. You are wearing the sacred thread. If you are a sannyasi, you will not wear that, but you are wearing that. And Ativarnashrami. Who are you? Then the master said, Jadabharata gave him the teaching about the knowledge of the self. And he said, I just narrated this story here because there he says, the worldly knowledge depends on ignorance. Without ignorance, you cannot interact in the world. Generally, it is said with pure gold, you cannot make an ornament. You need some mixture. So too, with absolute knowledge, the person will go out. Because vyavahara is impossible. Na surayo hi vyavaharamenam tatvavamarshena sahamananti. And there, the king says, you say so, but there are people who with perfect knowledge are able to interact in the world. He asked this Purva Paksha, this question. Jadabharata says, without doubt he says, Na vedavadeshu hi tattvavadah prayena shuddho nu chakasti sadhu. There he says, because they have not perfectly absorbed the teaching. Because when the teaching is absorbed completely, the ego will lose its existence. No more the ego can operate. Without ego, attachment and aversion are not possible. And without attachment and aversion, this idiotic existence is not possible. So naturally things will fall off. That is what Bhagavan says. ஊழியில் வாழும் மாக்களில் என்பால் ஊதியம் யாது நீ பெற்றாய் பாழினில் வீழாதேழையை காத்து உன் பதத்தில் இருத்தி வைத்தனையே. Another song he says, you just வாயினில் மண்ணினை அட்டி. Says, you put mud in my mouth. That means I am not able to live in the world. What did you gain by pulling me out? You did that because without the will of Ishvara, knowledge cannot arise, absolute renunciation cannot arise. These two things only he can give. To Uddhava, Bhagavan says, Uddhava says, Krishna, you take me, take me. Because Krishna is going to, he was getting ready to leave the world. Then Uddhava says, I know you have already decided. I also want to come with you, wherever you go. I cannot live without you. Then Krishna said, yes, Uddhava, I also want to be with you always. You are very dear to me. You know how much you are dear to me? You are dear to me more than myself. Na tathame priyatamaha atmayonihi na shankaraha. Brahma is not that dear to me. Shiva is not that dear to me. Nashrihi, not even Mahalakshmi is dear to me. And not even myself is dear to me like you. Because you are a Bhagavata. Tvamcha Bhagavateshu aham. You are a great devotee. So I want to give you the greatest gift. And what is that gift? He says, you renounce everything and go to Badrikashrama. Tvam tu sarvam parityajya sneham swajana bandhushu mayyaveshya manassamyak samadrik vicharasvagam. This is the greatest gift that I am giving you. Because you belong to me. So this is where the absolute knowledge operates, where you need not have transaction in the world with attachment or aversion. That is why the jnani is available. Bhagavan was available in the ashram, in the Ramana ashram. He was there moving about 24 hours available, but he did not participate in any official transactional things. Things will be happening around. He will not interfere. People will come and sometimes complain to him that such and such a thing is happening there. He will not interfere. And sometimes people will come and say, Bhagavan, you are not interfering. Ashram needs some kind of disciplining, doing this, doing that. Oh, you have come to repair the ashram. Valla ashramata nannaka vandirka. Vanda velaya paru oi. Attend to the work for which you came. Don't forget for which you came. You have some other purpose, look to that. When you absolutely turn your attention towards your own real nature, your own swarupa, you inquire, who am I, what is my real nature, then when you find that the first thing that I have to attain is the knowledge of the self, and I have to turn my attention completely to that, then naturally you give up everything. Even if for a worldly pursuit, somebody is studying fully putting their attention in that studies. They give up other things, at least temporarily. But spiritually, when you want only this knowledge of the self, then the very nature of that process is, it just takes away all other things. Ramakrishna used to give the example of a pregnant lady. When the lady is pregnant, slowly she will not be able to do other works. And in a former family life, the grandmother, the mother-in-law, she is in charge of the family. She will slowly say, no, you need not do this, you need not do that, you need not do this. And after the childbirth, the only work is looking after the child. Like that, when the person becomes spiritual, turns towards God, slowly karma will drop off, drop off, drop off. And once the realization happens, the only thing that he can do is to remain in that state, to abide in that state. So that is taṉmaiyi. In Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan says, Krityamastikim swasthitim yataha. Krityamastikim swasthitim yataha. When one has attained swasthiti, one's natural state, what is there to be accomplished? What is there to be done? What is there to be known? What is there to be achieved? And that is the state of a Mukta Purusha. So this is the 13th verse that we saw. This knowledge gives him that experience of oneness. Wherever he looks, it is nothing but the Atman, the self. You can say God, Ishvara. Wherever you look, it is Ishvara. In whatever form, it is Him. உன்னிடத்தில் ஒப்புவித்த உள்ளத்தால் எப்பொழுதும் உன்னை கண்டு அந்நியமிலா அன்பு செய்யும் அன்னோன் அருணாச்சலா வெல்கும் இன்புருவாம் உன்னில் ஆழ்ந்தே. This is the last verse of Arunachala Pancharattam, where Bhagavan says, உன்னிடத்தில் ஒப்புவித்த உள்ளத்தால். That is the first stage, where the mind is withdrawn from the world and made to abide in the Atman, in the self. And more oppuvikkal means Atma Samsthiti. Let the mind get training to stay there. Let it get trained. Let it become familiar with that spiritual state. And the more and more it becomes familiar, it absorbs the samadhi, that samyama. And when that absorption becomes natural, உன்னிடத்தில் ஒப்புவித்த உள்ளத்தால் எப்பொழுதும் உன்னை கண்டு, always beholding you, அந்நியமில் அன்பு செய்யும் unknown. The anbu, the love is not with duality. There is non-dual love. There is no other. அந்நியமில் அன்பு செய்யும் unknown அருணாச்சலா வெல்கும். There is the spiritual victory. There is the spiritual success, because with open eyes, while doing vyavahara, there is no duality. The samadhi has no break. It is not simply sitting with closed eyes. With open eyes also, the Jivan Mukta is looking at the world and everything as nothing but the Atman. And the Upanishad puts it very poetically. The mystical poetry is vibrant, alive. Where the Shruti says, behind is the Atman, in front is the Atman, right side is the Atman, left side is the Atman, above, below. Atma Pashad, Atma Purastad, Atma Dakshinataha, Atmottaradah, Atmaivedam Sarvam. Sa evam Pashyan, evam Manvanaha, evam Vijanan, Atmaratihi, Atmakridaha, Atmamithunaha, Atmanandaha. Saswarad bhavati, sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. He becomes absolutely free, moves about as he likes. Ashai pol ulagil vilayad veera. With that knowledge, move about sport in the world in the joy of the Atman, says the Shruti. Atma kridaha. Atmarati, he takes delight in the Atman. Atma mithunaha, his friend, his family, everything is nothing but Atma only. Swarad Bhavati is the real sovereign monarch. Wherever he beholds, looks, it is nothing but, you can say, God, Ishvara. We generally tell this with Prahalada. Tunilum, Turumbilum, he says, in everywhere, in the pillar, in the stone, in the wood, in the elements, he saw Narayana. Devotees, many devotees have also sung like that. Kabir, in one of his dohe, in song, he says, Jagrati Rama, Swapani Rama. Jit deko tit tu. He says, wherever I look, O Rama, it is you. And in me also, when I say, who am I? When I ask, I am not there, only Rama is there. Mujhme rahi na hu. He says, Mujhme rahi na hu. In me also, I don't exist, only Rama is there. So this is the grand culmination of the spiritual quest, Sarvatma Bhava. For such a Mukta Purusha, there is no sadhana. The sadhana also comes to an end. For a playfully, he can do something, that's all. Perhaps formerly he is doing some anushtana, he will be doing the anushtana, or he might leave it. Bhagavata says, after this, Jahi Astram. Says, give up the arrow, bow, everything. Because the work is over. Even that samskara is over. Naturally, he looks at the entire creation as the Atma, as the Swarupa. So this is the grand culmination of the spiritual quest. This comes in the 13th verse. The 14th verse. taṉmaiயுṇḍēல் muṇṉilai paḍarkkaigaḻ ḍāmuḻavān. taṉmaiyiண் uṇmaiyai tāṉāyndu taṉmaiyaṛiண். muṇṉilai paḍarkkை muḍivuṯṛu ஒன்றாய் ஒளிரும் taṉmaiயே taṉன்னிlaimai tān. Actually, this is not the difficulty of Tamil. This is the difficulty of the not getting the catch of the subject. Once you get the subject, it is very easy. In Tamil grammar, the first person, second person, third person are said taṉmai, muṇṉilai, paḍarkkai. In Sanskritam, it is Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Uttama Purusha. English, first person, second person, third person. But Sanskrit, it is reverse. Sanskrit, it is absolutely reverse. Because first person in English, Prathama Purusha in Sanskrit is he. First person in English is I. You just see the very nature of the language. The very character of the language is different. In English is a transactional language. From this we can understand. That is how we live. It is just reflecting that. That's all. I am the first person. And you are the second person. Somebody related to me. Wife or husband or my child or my family member, friend. He is the second person and the unknown person is the third person. I, you, he. Because he you cannot contact. The moment you contact he becomes you. It's simple. Absolute object you cannot contact. The moment you come in contact with the object, it becomes the second person, you. But in Sanskrit, you see, The first person is the absolute object, whom you cannot contact. He, unknown person. Sarvepi sukhinas santu. Sarve santu niramayaha. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. For the entire world. Not for me, my family, no. It is for the others, for all. The other becomes the first preference is for the other. Then the second person is you. And the beauty is there is no third person. If you put the first person as the he, you will not exist. And when you see the I, instead of I, you see Uttama Purusha. And who is this Uttama Purusha? You have to see that when grammarians, the Vaiyakaranas, they did a magic there. They said, Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha and Tritiya Purusha. Adhama Purusha did not say, they say Uttama Purusha. Because Uttama Purusha, the meaning of Uttama Purusha, you have to see Bhagavad Gita. Uttamah Purushastvanyaha Paramatmeti Udahritaha. That Uttama Purusha is Paramatma. He is Ishvara himself. So when you see what this I is, because absolutely selfishness is removed, then the I, you see I will not be there. And you know, in Sanskritam and Tamil, I means Shiva. In Tamil also, that is why they call Ayya. In Tamil, when they, for calling sir, Ayya means I is, Sambodhana is Ayya. In fact, in Tamil they use simple I also. Patanathar, one of his songs, he says, muṇṉilaipa ti muppurathile, pin I ittati taṉmaiyiṛ, annai ittati adivayathile, yanum ittati mužha, he says. Mun I, pin I. Then he says annai. Annai is mother. So I is another name for God. And in Sanskrit also, Ayyai Namaha. In Trishati there is a Nama, Lalita Sahasranam. Ayyai. That I is the name of Bhagavan. And you can see the grammar dictionary. I means Ishvara. So, okay, that is not the subject here. So here, taṉmai, but we come to Tamil grammar. Sanskrit slogan na Yushmad Asmad Tad Yushmador Asmadi Sampratishta Tasmin Vinashte Asmadi Mula Bodhat Tad Yushmad Asmad Mativarjitaika Sthitir Jwalanti Sahajatmanasyat. Very beautiful verse. So here the taṉmai is the I, the taṉmai. And you is muṇṉilai, something which is in contact. And he is paḍarkkai. It is spread out, pervading everywhere. It is in distance. So taṉmaiyiṇḍēl muṇṉilai paḍarkkaigaḻ ḍāmuḷavān. If the I is there, you and he are all there. taṉmaiyiṉ uṇmaiyai taṉāyndu. When you inquire, investigate the real nature of this taṉmai, this I, the I will vanish. taṉmaiyaṛiṉ. muṇṉilai paḍarkkai muḍivuṯṛu. When the I disappears, you see in the deep sleep, when the mind slowly withdraws, you forget this world and then you dream. Then that also is absorbed inside. Then you find the I also disappears, the world disappears. And when you wake up, the first thing to emerge is this I thought. The I arises, the mind blooms, it dreams, and then it comes out of the senses and sees the waking state. So the I is the door, entry to this world. Manomukha, Cheto Mukha. Inga varudhu Mandukya Upanishad. Cheto Mukha. Prajnaha Tritiyah Padaha. It is Cheto Mukha. From deep sleep, it moves towards the dream, the Linga Sharira. The eye comes and then moves and then opens. So like that. So the eye, muṇṉilai, paḍarkkai, muḍivuṭṛu. When the ego I is removed, the you and he also disappears. ṭṟāyoḻirun taṉmaiyi. That non-dual self alone shines forth. taṉnnilaimai tān. That is one's real state. Sahajatmanasyat. Atmanaha sahaja sthiti. The natural state of realization. Yushmad asmat mati varjita eka sahaja atmanaha sthitihi. The state where neither you exist nor I exist, only that natural awareness of the self is there. That is sahaja nirvikalpa sthiti, which Bhagavan calls there. So that is the subject of the 14th verse. So this is a very important verse here. From here, more and more and more, we move towards the path of inquiry, Atma Vichara. So before entering, but this verse is very important. The importance is all for the I. Arthur Osborne told, Bhagavan gave the entire essence of Vedanta Shastra in the smallest alphabet in English language. The smallest alphabet is I. Only one line. All other, you need to do some artwork. But here, nothing. Just put a line, it is I. In the smallest alphabet in English language, Bhagavan revealed the entire Vedanta Shastra. Aham. In Shaiva Siddhanta also, this Aham represents Shiva. This I, Aham. Namo aham padarthaya lokanam siddhihetave sachidananda rupaya shivaya paramatmane. Shiva is worshipped as aham padartha, as the implied meaning of experiential meaning of I, as the I am. So that is the Shivajnana. That is why in Dakshinamurti Stotram Shankaracharya says, Dakshinamurti shines forth as aham. Iti bhadraya mudraya. It is his mudra. The chin mudra is aham. So that here Bhagavan opens that subject in this verse, 14th verse. This is Bhagavan's initiation. In Kashmira Shaivam, the Abhinava Gupta's Sampradaya, they have also this Mahavakyopadesha. So generally in Vedanta we have Mahavakyopadesha of Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, all this. But the Kashmira Shaivam, their Mahavakyopadesha is simply Aham, that's all. Simply I. Because that is the only thing that you know. Brahman, you do not know. You are aware of only, sure about only one thing, that is I exist. I do not know whether God exists, Vaikunta, Kailasa, nothing. But one thing I am sure, certain, that I am there. And what is this I? And when you inquire, then you find that the I is not the Jiva, it is Ishvara, it is Brahma. So this knowledge arises, and that knowledge happens in the prajnanam. Then it is stable. Because if God appears in front of you, you close your eyes, you will not see Him. And God appears in the mind, much more stable. People think outwardly if He comes it is stable. It is not stable. It comes, you close your eyes, you will not see. After putting so much difficulty, go to some temple, Guruvayur or Arunachaleshwara temple, stand in the queue Now to go to Arunachaleshwara temple, you have to stand in the outside gate. From there you have to go in queue. Formerly you can go inside Arunachaleshwara temple, wander anywhere, sit anywhere. Now it is not possible. This is the problem of becoming famous. The place became famous, now it is not available to devotees. All crowd. And go in a queue, enter the temple and come out another way. You cannot sit anywhere. So there you will be standing in the queue for 1 hour or 2 hours. And while you are in front of the Sannidhi, you close your eyes. 1 second you close your eyes and move about. So like that, you get a chance. Outside Bhagavan, you can close your eyes and lose. But in inner vision, you can see much more. But there also you sleep, it will disappear. But the real Bhagavan is something which you should not even lose in the unconscious state, in the dream also. That is possible only when you realize that the very self is Bhagavan. The astitvam, existence, is Bhagavat Swarupam. When you recognize it, then that Bhagavat Tattvam you can never lose. That is why taṉmaiyi, Bhagavan uses the word taṉmai, that we will continue tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachalam, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachalam. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinchitasti yatha taveshtam kurumam tathaiva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajami.